Plastic Commander here, and firstly, I need to apologize for the lack of content the past month. I've had a lot going on. If you saw my latest video, which hardly anyone watched, but that's okay. I didn't expect anyone to watch that. But I did talk about how I had a lot going on right now, and that it's just been kind of difficult for me to make content. So, but I'm back here now, and I will start trying to do videos regularly once a week again. So today, to start us back into the rhythm, I thought it would be real fun to look at a set of figures that a lot of people are really interested in, and that is the Arco Toy Army Men and the figures that are knockoffs of it. So, Arco was a company founded in the 60s, and they made Toy Army Men, and then another company, or well, a couple of companies, made copies of those figures, and those figures got real popular. And we're going to talk about both the original Arco figures and the ones that got made that are based off of them. And part of the reason they're so popular is because they're based off of a stop-motion short film series on YouTube called Plastic Apocalypse. And if you haven't seen Plastic Apocalypse and you're a fan of Army Men, absolutely go watch it. You'll absolutely love it, because it's one of the best Army Men anythings to ever be put out. So, without further ado, let's get back to the good old-fashioned, fun, family-friendly Plastic Commander content that we all know and love. So before we take a look at the classic figures from Plastic Apocalypse that we all know and love, we must first take a look at these guys, and these are the Arco Toy Army Men. So, a little bit about Arco. They were founded in the 1960s by a man named Stephen Geller, and he was the president of the company up until 1991. But what's really interesting is that in 1986, he sold the company to Mattel. Mattel, which is one of the largest toy companies on the planet. Just a reminder, kids, since I know a lot of you guys who watch my channel are very young, impressionable children, I just want to get the idea across to you all that mega corporations are vassals of the Antichrist, and they are set to destroy the way we live. So always remember that. Just always remember, when Disney buys up another media conglomerate, just be a little bit more scared, like I do every day. So, a little less about that, more about some Army Men. These guys are really, really cool, and the way you know they're real is because they say Arco at the bottom. If I can get it to focus. If I can get it to focus. Do they say Arco? Am I just tripping? No, they don't say Arco.
We tripping. We tripping. We tripping. We tripping.
Oh, never mind. But they do have a little A at the bottom to distinguish them as Arco. So, these guys are kind of rare. And they made them in these two colors, black and this, evergreen? Kind of evergreen green. And yeah, this one you probably recognize. This is probably the most popular out of the set. Even in the ones that copy this set, there's always this guy. And as we're going to see in the copies of this set here, they kind of add and also take away more figures. And that's kind of why the knockoffs of these are a little bit more sought after. It's just because of the figures that they add, which we'll see in a moment. Also, another cool staple of this set has to be the Rambo. It was made during the time Rambo First Blood came out. He has a wife beater, he has his bow and some arrows, he's got a knife right here, so you got a little commando that you can have join your ranks. So, really, really interesting. And then, of course, we got this guy right here with the RPG. And he also kind of has a Rambo hairdo going on. He has a bandana around the back of his head. You can kind of make out the strands of hair. These figures aren't the most detailed in the world, but they're still really, really nice. They're far from like dollar store figures. It's just that these figures kind of suffer from a fatal flaw. So, real quick, I am going to grab a figure that is 132. And if we have these guys right next to each other, yeah, like I've said before, and I will say it again, kids like army men that are roughly the same size. That's why 132 has been so popular, and so many figures have been made in that scale. So, probably part of the reason these figures are kind of rare now, they just really didn't sell super well, if I had to guess. Like, maybe if you grew up around the 80s, you might recognize these, but a lot of people really don't. These are some really more obscure army men. So, a little bit more about Arco. They were a Hong Kong-based company primarily, and after they were acquired by Mattel, they pretty much exclusively began making Barbie doll furniture and stuff for Barbie.
Too exotic for me. Do you have anything a little more gentle on the taste buds?
I've got a PB&J on whole wheat.
Whole wheat? You know I don't eat spicy food.
So, like you know, Mattel owns Barbie, so they started making accessories for the Barbie line, which leads me to believe, now that I think about it, that these figures were made before that acquisition. So, Arco Toy Army Men, really, really cool, and as we're about to see, great inspiration for things to come. Oof. So on the table now, we have a group of figures that's from two different sets in a variety of different colors, and by variety, I mean three, the holy trinity of Army Men colors, tan, gray, and green. We have Arco clones. So, this is one of those rare instances in the toy world, and especially the Army Men community, where the knockoff figures are more sought after than the originals. And there's a few reasons for this. For one, I'm just going to take one of the clones and put him up against one of the originals. And you can barely tell, there's a slight height difference. So, if I put one of these guys next to a Timmy knockoff, the height difference is way noticeable. So, like I said just a minute ago, kids like toy army men that are similar sizes. So, and these guys are way closer to 132. And like I just said, these are two different sets, and I'm just roping them all together because, for one, they all have the same poses, and two, the only difference that I can think of is like the shading of color. Like the tans, this is from one set, this is from the other. And then the greens just fall everywhere. Everywhere. This one's from one set and this is from the other. And there's really not much of a difference in the plastic or the quality of the figures. Like this one's a little lighter evergreen, this one's more olive drab. So, I'm just going to rope both of these sets together. Now, these figures were made around the late 90s, early 2000s, and one of these sets was sold on Amazon for a little while. There's another YouTuber who also reviewed these figures, and I will throw a link to his video up right here. And he talks about how these used to be sold on Amazon a long time ago. And if you were lucky enough to find them back then, that's about the only time you could get them, unless you get them secondhand. So, one of these sets I did get off of eBay. Who was selling them through there. And they are a little pricier than normal, like kind of up there with a nice set of like Mars or Toy Soldiers of San Diego for a pack of like 100 of them, which that's not really bad. So, and in that set, it came in three colors, gray, green, and tan. So, another reason why these are more sought after is because of the short film Plastic Apocalypse: The Sabertooth. Made by Michael Ackerman, which is a great Army Men stop motion, or if you're just a stop motion fan in general, you really need to check it out. It's like one of the best stop motion movies using Army Men ever made. Michael Ackerman's super talented, and I've been watching his stop motions ever since I was a kid. I remember watching the original Plastic Apocalypse years ago, and it really excites me that he had made a new one when I found out. So, he uses a lot of these figures in his video, like this guy right here. And I'm going to pull up one of the green ones. You may recognize him because he uses these for the character Sergeant Shamrock. Who is one of the main characters of the film. And there's a lot of really cool poses, like this guy laying down with binoculars. You don't see anything like that. Or this guy just laying here, making a sexy Titanic pose. Draw me like one of your high quality toy soldiers of San Diego. So, and we got the RPG guy, and he's changed a little bit. He doesn't have that Rambo hair, he just has a regular old helmet. So, the Rambo guy is missing, unfortunately. They don't have a substitute for him. But a couple other cool figures. We got this dude with binoculars, which he just looks like he's fed up. He looks like he is looking at the battlefield. He has a hand on his hip, and he's like, they are just performing so lousy today. Look at him. This is how I feel every day I'm at work. It's just this guy right here. Oh, excuse me. I'm just slowly dying. And then this character right here is used for another character in the Sabretooth. I think his name is Sergeant Kilroy. He's a tan. I haven't watched it in a little while, but he's used in that film. So if you haven't seen Plastic Apocalypse, any of them, you really need to watch all of them, especially if you're an Army-Men fan. In fact, I feel silly saying that because pretty much all Army-Men fans have seen it 6 times over. It's a shame that Michael Ackerman just came out and said recently that he wouldn't be doing any more Army-Men stuff, which, Mike, you're probably not watching this video. That's okay, because someone who's a fan of you is making it. And I just want to let you know, even though you're not watching, you should stick to Army-Men stuff. Hear me out, okay? Who else is doing niche Army-Men stop-motion videos and movies? You could have something so unique with these guys, right? You've been making them for years, you're an expert at it, you need to go back to making Army-Men movies. I'm just saying. They're probably, I'm not going to say easier to make. I'm not very familiar with the filmmaking process, especially the indie filmmaking process, but I feel like you have something really original by making Army-Men films if you want to go into filmmaking. So, that's just my 2 cents from the Plastic Commander, if you care about it. But, anywho, these guys are really cool, and like I was just showing a second ago, here's the guy who's like the rifleman from the last set. I guess he's chafed. That's the only thing I can think of. This is how I walk when my legs have been rubbed together way too hard because I'm wearing the wrong size of underwear. But, and finally, guy throwing a grenade. Really, really cool. And this also is a figure that is used to make Sergeant Shamrock. So, Arco clones, they're really hard to come by, but if you see them online for a reasonable price, definitely pick them up because they're just so hard to find. So, Arco clones, really, really cool. Definitely get some if you're an Army-Men fan. So, before I close this video out, I just wanted to take a moment to give a shout out to one of my good friends and one of the biggest fans of this channel, my good buddy Titus. So, my friend Titus had a workplace accident recently, and he's fallen into some hard times, and we're all thinking about him, and I wanted to talk about him a little bit just so all of my fans can think about him. So, you guys are a very supportive community, so thoughts, prayers, just absolutely anything that you guys can manifest and give, please keep him in mind. And Titus, hang in there, buddy. We're going to do something special for you for Christmas, and we're going to be with you every step of the way. I just want you to know that, and I know you watch all my videos, and you were asking about my videos, and, well, I just wanted to give you a quick shout-out. Also, go follow his YouTube channel, guys. Sod Wheelhopper Investigates. I've talked about him before. If you look at some of the posts that I've made, I made a post about his channel and some of his videos, so go on over to his channel and subscribe, because his content's also really good. He searches abandoned buildings and does all sorts of crazy stuff like that, and it's really, really fun to watch. So, Titus, we're thinking about you. Hang in there. You'll be home soon for the holidays. So, also guys, make sure you go check out our Reddit, Plastic Toy Dudes, and also go join our Discord. We have about 35 members now, which is crazy. I didn't think it'd get that big, but you can find both of those in the channel description. So, and thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we're going to go back to doing weekly videos again. So, thank you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hang in there, Titus. Bye.